Hey guys, welcome back to Homestead Prepping and Survival. Today it's going to be a little off topic, a little bit different video. I'm going to show you some video fragments that I've recorded over the last few days of a dog that I found on the road I live on, which I live on the middle of a very long dirt road. And there's only one house on one side of me, which is, eighth of a mile down, and then there's quite a few on the other end. But I come in the way there's no houses, and it's a couple of miles before you get to my house. And on the way home this past Friday, this dog was running down the dirt road. Now I'm used to seeing deer run and all that, so first thing I did was grab my phone and was ready to start recording so I could, save some of that. See what kind he was, how big and all that stuff. But as I got closer, I realized it wasn't a deer. It's a dog running toward me. And I stopped and, see if he's friendly. This dog looks like, the skeleton you see in science or biology class or whatever of a person. This dog looked like a dog skeleton with a fur blanket thrown over it. I mean, every bone I could see detailed. And his collar, which I couldn't believe he still had it on, but he still had his collar on, and it was hanging down so far that I could slide it over his shoulders and down. Like, if I wanted to, I could have just squeezed his front legs right through that same collar and all with him. He's lost that much weight. Well, I understand there's a lot of people that don't care for dogs, and there's a lot of people that don't care for cats and all this, but, overall, I'm an animal lover. I don't have a whole lot here now because I haven't been able to. But in the future, I plan on having quite a few more livestock type animals. And either way, I'm not going to see an animal starving to death and not feed it. So once I stopped and he come running up to the side of my truck and was friendly, I opened the door and he wanted to get in the truck. And I didn't want him in my truck. Y'all know I just had the seats and all recovered in that thing. And I let the tailgate down and he goes around to the back and I'm telling him to load up. Load up. He puts his front feet up on the tailgate and makes a little hop like he's going to try to jump in, but he didn't have the strength to jump in the back of my truck. So I tried to get him to do it 3 or 4 times and same result every time. So I finally just bent over and picked him up and helped him get in the back of the truck. And then I drove really slow the rest of the way to the house. And just kind of watched him. So if he's freaked out or something, I didn't want him to jump out and hurt himself. So I was going very, very slow. But anyway, I got him home. All I had was a couple of cans of Alpo Prime Cuts canned dog food. And my pit bull that I had that died a couple of years ago, a year and a half or so ago, absolutely loved Alpo Prime Cuts, which he liked the dry food, but he would eat the wet stuff if I gave it to him every day. But I tried a lot of other brands, and he just didn't care for them. So that's what I bought him. He would eat, and he was a very healthy, fat puppy when he died. So anyway, that's all I had. So I gave him a can of that, and he ate just a little bit of it and was licking at it, but he really wasn't eating it like you would think a starving animal would. But while he was doing that, I called my daughter and said, hey, can you drop me off some dog food? Because they live a mile from me, and they've got some dogs. So she said, well, we're in town picking up the kids. I'll drop you some off. So a little bit later, she stopped and gave me a Ziploc bag, which they have a new puppy as well. And she had some dry food in the bag that they had for the puppy. So she gave that to me, and I gave him a small but adult serving. Small adult serving. And he wolfed that doggone dry food down like he had never eaten in his life. Didn't really care for the canned stuff. So I knew since he was starving, it's going to tear his stomach up and all of that. You know, it's what happens when you haven't eaten. So I took that wet food thinking, okay, it's probably a little better for him. I don't know. But I took that wet food and I mixed some dry in there with it, and he would pick at it and eat some of it, but not gulp it down like he was doing that dry food. And of course, I gave him water and all. So he stunk to high heaven. Oh my goodness, like he rolled in something dead. So I'll be honest with you, I've never seen a dog or an animal alive as skinny as he was. And I've got some video footage I'm going to show y'all, but the camera does not do it justice. I sent the video to my daughter that lives in town and her husband, and they both could tell in the video, and I told them he's the skinniest dog I'd ever seen. And they came out Sunday. I actually went out of town this past Sunday, and they came out and did some things around the house and went out there and petted on him and loved on him. And her husband told her, says, he's a lot skinnier in person than he looks on camera. And I'm like, y'all, I done fed him for 2 days. You know, I understand that ain't gonna put any weight on him, but anyway, I'm 6.5 minutes into this video and I apologize for it. But guys, I don't know if you've ever done it or if you know somebody that's ever done it, but don't leave a dog or a cat or anything out in the wilderness. Domesticated animals cannot take care of themselves. Yes, there's a few dogs that are going to get lucky and learn and be able to feed themselves and become a wild dog again, but for the most part, domesticated animals can't take care of themselves. It's a miserable existence for them. So anyway, I went ahead and brought him home. I didn't have any tags or anything on his collar, and I took that collar and tightened it as tight as it would go for the size collar it is, and y'all know I can still pull it over his head. So, I mean, if that gives you any indication, you take a large dog collar and shrink it as much as it'll go, I can still slide it over his head. But he's staying on it. I put him on, I've got a 200-foot runner on my property with a 20-foot cable off of that, so he can basically run a full 200 feet back and forth without wrapping into anything. And plenty of room for him to run and get exercise. Well, the first night I gave him a bath and let him stay in a kennel in the living room and left my bedroom door open so he could see me, because he really seems that type of animal that wants to be right there with you. And he didn't whine, he didn't do anything. He slept in that thing all night. He did make a mess, but that's to be expected. So I got up Sunday morning and cleaned all that up, cleaned him up. And Sunday I got the cable put back up where I used to have my other dog, and I got him put on that cable, and I've been feeding him, and he eats like he hasn't eaten in years. So today I decided to go ahead and start putting a lot of food in that feeder that I've had out there, because believe it or not, most dogs will lose weight if they're really heavy, like my pit bull was, when they figure they don't have to gorge it down, that it's always there when they want some. So my pit bull went from, I don't know, 85, 90 pounds down to about 70, 75 after I started filling that feeder up, and he realized the food was always there. So I've been feeding him every morning, every evening, and this evening I didn't fill the feeder up, but it's about half full, and he has gorged himself on it. But I know it may not be good for him, but at least he's not starving to death. So I hope he makes it. He smells a lot better since he's had a bath. He's a sweet puppy. I'm gonna tell you, I've got the cable on a telephone pole out there, and I took my extension ladder out, let it up as high as it would go, climbed that thing and run that cable way up that pole as far as I could get it, because it actually runs across the front of my property where the driveway is, and I don't want UPS and bigger vehicles and stuff hitting the cable when they come in, so it is way up there. And anyhow, he's trying to climb that ladder, y'all. I'm up on that ladder, and he's literally put 2 feet on the front, 2 bottom feet. He made it 2 steps before his legs went through the ladder, and then he'd get down and he'd try again, trying to climb that ladder to be with me. So Well, what do I do with this? Y'all see this? He seems to be sweet. I've tightened the collar up he had on when I found him. As much as it'll go, it was big enough it could be pulled over his head without even touching his head. But let me see if I can get him to stand up so y'all can see how starving this dog is. Look at this. Look at this. I know the camera's not doing justice. And I have fed him. And I have bathed him. This is a big dog. I mean, he comes up to the bottom of my pockets. See him shaking? Gave him a bath. I've done walked him. He seems to want to get on the furniture, which I don't want to allow. But found this dog on the road I live on the way home. Going the opposite direction from where people live. And he was 2 miles from anybody. So now I got to try to nurse him back to health. He won't be still, y'all. But look at this. Can you see the ribs? Man, the camera don't do it justice. He's so skinny. He's so skinny, but he's so sweet. Anyway, I've been feeding him, let's see, Friday night. So, 5 days. And he still gulps it down like he's never going to have another meal. Go ahead. See, he's been eating pretty good. I want to fill him up. So he's as full as I've had him since I've been here. I put so much food in that 25-pound feeder. He can't hold no more. Look at that. He's a sweet dog. I have not named him yet. My daughter said that my grandson said I needed to name him something, but you know, I've been planning all along if he made it, which it seems like he has, that I was going to show y'all the video and let y'all give me some comments. And if I get enough comments or enough emails or whatever, you know, I'm going to choose the most popular name out of it. At least that's my plan. If I don't get but a couple of comments, I'm probably just going to go with my grandboy said. So anyway, guys, I do appreciate y'all. Please don't let people turn domesticated animals loose where they can't be taken care of. I hate an animal going to the pound, but that's a whole lot better than turning them loose when they're going to starve to death. So anyway, guys, I'm going to edit the video. I'm going to add this in here. Guys, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel if you don't mind. It helps me grow this channel tremendously. And, you know, like the video if you like the content that I put out. Now, I understand today's video is a little bit different than normal. But, you know, if you can hit that like button, share the channel when you can, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'm looking at my overall views, and I'm almost to 1,800 views. In the about 3 months I've started the channel. 1,800. Now, you could watch the same video 15 times. It's only going to count it as one time. So I'm just telling y'all that's 1,800 people or different devices that's watched the videos, and that's a huge number, and I really appreciate it. But we're sitting on 69 subscribers right now. I would really like to get those numbers way on up there to go, maybe not with the views, because you're going to always have more, but anyway, I'd really like to grow the channel up there if we can. So please help me with that. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and hit that like button when you can, and share the channel. But guys, any suggestions? I'm planning on keeping the puppy unless someone sees him and decides that, hey, that's my dog I lost. Of course, I'll give him back, but otherwise, he's got a forever home here, and he's going to be well fed and well taken care of. So thank y'all very much. Remember the 2 things I always tell you, and I'm going to add one thing to that today. Jesus loves the animals. Okay? Jesus loves you, and so do I. Y'all be good.